This episode is brought to you by Kia's first three-row, all-electric SUV, the Kia EV9, with available all-wheel drive and seating for up to 7 adults, with 0 to 60 speed that thrills you 1 minute and available lounge seats that unwind you the next. Visit kia.com/EV9 to learn more. Ask your Kia dealer for availability. No system, no matter how advanced, can compensate for all driver error and or driving conditions. Always drive safely.
Hey, do I have a special surprise for you? How about a bonus episode here on Commando Demand is actually a full hour of my national radio show. I know you're going to love it. And stick around to the very end for a special free bonus that you're going to get just for listening. Welcome, one and all. It's another hour of America's number one, most listened to, most awesomest show about everything digital. You can find the Kim Komando Show on over 400 top stations from coast to coast and around the globe on American Forces Network Radio. I love that. 177 different countries, and every ship at sea gets the Kim Komando Show. And it's all about living the best digital lifestyle ever. And our T-Mobile Unlimited listener line is open. Love to hear from you. 1-888-825-5254. I'm sure you have at least 1, 2, or 12 questions about something digital I can lend a hand to. And just a quick reminder that if you'd like to be a caller on the show, you can always schedule a time to speak with me here on the air. Really easy to do. Head over to Komando.com, of course. That's Komando. And on the right-hand side, there's a big old link that says be a caller. Fill that form out. You're so smart. And one of our fabulous producers will get back with you. And it's time now for 5 things that you need to know about in the world of tech. And, you know, it's a lot of work, but every single day I look at 30 different websites. And every show I tell you 5 things that you need to know. And let's start with big money. And I have a question for you. What do Amazon, Apple, Facebook, Google, and Microsoft, what do they have in common? Well, they're all massive tech firms, and they probably know more about you than your mother. And to find something else they have in common, let's take a trip to Wall Street. And listen up, investors, because here's a little fun fact for you. Those 5 companies make up nearly 20% of the S&P 500's market cap. And what's the big deal about that? Well, about 20 years ago, we had Microsoft, Cisco, ExxonMobil, General Electric, and Intel. Yes, they also made up about 20% of the market cap. And boom, the dot-com bubble burst in 2000. Could it happen again? Some folks say yes. I don't buy it. Valuations of the current 5 companies are justified. Growth expectations are achievable. But always remember the golden rule. The best way to make a small fortune in the stock market is to start out with a big one. All right, number 2, ransomware is now after much more than just the money. Over the past few years, these clever cyber crooks have been targeting private companies and hospitals and school districts and even entire cities. They lock up critical files until the outfit pays them a ransom, often as high as $50,000. But last year, one ransomware attack demanded, $3.4 million from an LA area hospital. So now the crooks are going after more than just files. We're seeing a huge uptick and the number of attacks that are targeting major industries. We're talking about electric grids, dams, refineries, other types of infrastructure. Now, think about what kind of damage that could do, and think about how much money some company would pay to be operational again. Now, one such strain that's out there is called ECANS. It's similar to other ransomware. It goes after networks and disables data backups, but this one actually seeks out those individual control systems that I just mentioned. Remember the good old days when we only had to worry about sextortion scams. Number 3, now when you have a BlackBerry, you no longer get Bluetooth. What? That's right. After years of slowly fading, the end of the BlackBerry, once the king of all devices, has arrived. To give you an idea of how quickly the phone era came and went, remember that before he was president, Senator Barack Obama was never without his BlackBerry. And the parent company Research in Motion, they grew belligerent over the success. They thought they were just too big to fail. Both customer service and innovation just nosedive. And suddenly, there was a reason to look for a new phone, and users found it in the Apple iPhone. The company stopped making their own devices a few years ago, but they managed to do a deal in China where they hung on with a partnership with TCL Communications. But now TCL says, we're done too. 13 years after a RIM co-founder criticized the iPhone, saying that real phones need real keyboards, the BlackBerry era is officially finally dead. And it doesn't help that the two middle keys on the keyboards are just K. Number 4, hidden features are normally hidden for a reason. I never met a Tesla owner who didn't brag to me about how great a car was. Superb style, no more trips to the gas station, the massive infotainment gets over-the-air updates. They don't like to talk about autopilot because it doesn't really mean autopilot, or smart summon, where you can make the app bring your Tesla to you. But the problem is summon Tesla doesn't always take things into consideration. But now we have something called dyno mode that the Tesla owners are bragging about. It sounds good, but the service techs actually use it to test the power output by sending power to the wheels without actually moving the car. And here's the problem. Dyno mode disables a lot of the safety features like the automatic emergency braking, or along with stability and traction control. And so instead of getting a better driving experience by using this hidden mode, the Tesla actually crashes, or that Tesla could do a massive drift, or what I like to call the electric slide. Okay, number 5, an artist can have a great engineering mind. Google Maps and Waze are terrific because in addition to directions, you can see traffic jams. You can get alternate routes to take. How the apps pinpoint real-time traffic issues is easy because the tech Google uses is built into everybody's phone. So here we have a German artist deciding to see if he could trick Google Maps. So this guy loaded down a little red wagon with about 100 smartphones. And you can see this from the video he published if you're watching my show through your Komando Community exclusive membership. Then he set up each phone to run Google Maps, took a stroll around various streets in Berlin. The app took all of those slow-moving smartphones into account, which was enough to register as a major traffic congestion, and here come the red lines all over the maps. Talk about being the fifth wheel on the little red wagon, the steering wheel. All right, coming up in this jam-packed hour of the Kim Komando Show, we have another round of brand new or not true. Oh, I think this is going to be a tough one because Chris Wineland's here, and he's going to try to stump me. And then later on this hour, a really great tip you don't want to miss. It's all about doing your taxes. I know you don't want to think about your taxes. Nobody wants to think about their taxes. But why you should be filing your taxes now instead of later. And, of course, we have all of your fabulous phone calls here on this coast-to-coast broadcast of the Kim Komando Show. Coming up in just a few moments, how do you set your phone alarm? Is it like one of those wah, 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 or is it just a nice little melody? Well, there's some science behind which one that you should actually choose. And how about we start this week's show with Lee in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. Hi there, Lee.
Hi, Kim. Thanks for taking my call. Long-time listener and great admirer of yours.
Oh, well, thank you, Lee. You're very kind. What's going on?
I have a very sticky problem, and I'm hoping you can help me. If anybody can, I know you will. Here's the thing. 4 months ago, I brought my fiancée and her daughter over from the Philippines. We were married 2 weeks later, and 9 days after that, she walked out on me without warning, took the child to the city welfare agency, and falsely accused me of abuse.
Okay,
So
whoa, wait. Okay, hold on, Lee. You just no, it's not your apology. Don't apologize. You just said this whole big story just in 30 seconds or less. Okay, so you found a bride in the Philippines.
Yes.
Okay. How long were you dating her?
7 years, and I made 2 visits to the Philippines in that time.
Okay.
To meet the bride.
Okay, and so your new bride had a child?
She has a child. The child was 3 years old when I met the young lady on the internet, and she was 3 years old when I visited them in Manila the first time.
Okay, so now the child's
she is 10 and a half.
Okay, now she's 10. Okay, and so you bring her over. You guys get married because you're in love, and then 2 weeks later, she says that you've been abusing her. She goes to the police.
She just disappears.
Oh.
I wake up one morning, she's gone. She's nowhere in sight. I don't know what's going on. I called the police, I called the FBI, I called everybody, the immigration authorities. I don't know until weeks later what happened. So, I thought she was lovely. I didn't turn out that way. Love was one-sided. So I did some digging before I learned even where she was. And I found out the sad truth was that all there was to her was a ticket to America. and abandoning me and accusing me of abuse immediately, got her a green card immediately, and put her on the fast track to a U.S. citizenship.
Wow.
It's, from what I've learned, it's a widespread practice in the third world countries. It's virtually a cottage industry there. It's called marriage fraud.
And so tell me more about how she accused you of this abuse. What's going on there, and how can I help you?
Well, a few weeks later, I get a knock on the door, and it's a social worker from the Department of Social Service in Philadelphia, Department of Human Services, and she presents me a letter from DHS, Department of Human Services, saying that I abused the child. I was shocked. I didn't know what was going on. She told me that my wife and the kid were in the protection of the Department of Human Services, and that I was being investigated for the complaint. And a few weeks later, the police called me in, interviewed me, and they have charged me with child abuse, which is kind of insane. So I did some more research. I found my wife's divorce papers, her divorce decree from the court, from her first husband, the father of the little girl, showing that she did the same thing 10 years ago, 10
but she
years
didn't get
before, to
citizenship.
her first husband, to the girl's father,
okay,
who ran off with her baby, accused them of abuse, ran to the Philippine embassy in Turkey where they were living, and she spent 8 months in the embassy, living off the embassy. She got her government, which is a poor country, she got a government to pay for her room and board for 8 months for her and the child,
okay,
to provide a lawyer to settle the matters.
This is a shrewd one, okay?
Oh, my.
Okay, so now, is there digital advice? Is that why you're calling me?
Yes, ma'am. The digital part comes in here. In addition to charging me with abuse, a few days after that, the detective told me that, called me in for an interview and showed me 4 sheets of paper, copy paper. And I looked at them. The detective says, "Did you send these?" I said, "No." I looked in horror. They were supposedly emails threatening my wife, that my wife said I had sent her. I had never sent her those emails. They were purported to be sent by Gmail, and they had a stamp on the bottom, sent from my Samsung Galaxy J7. I had sent tons of emails, and not a one of them carried that message on the bottom. The threatening message had my name on the bottom, Lee, and the stamp. I guess she didn't trust the police to figure out that I had sent them, because my name was on there. So she imprinted on the bottom, sent from my Galaxy J7. Okay. That's my phone.
Okay, so let me tell you what you need. Okay, because this must have you just an emotional wreck, right?
It does. I really am.
Okay, do you have a lawyer?
I have a lawyer, and I told him I was going to be calling you and asking you for help with this, and he said, by all means. Okay.
I can't give you legal advice. I can give you common sense advice, practical advice.
Yes.
Okay.
Technical advice, I hope, please.
Yes. Okay, so let me tell you something. When somebody sends an email, okay, there's a long string of digital bumps and traces along the way, okay? It's not just like an email goes from me to you, Lee. The email goes from me to my internet service provider. It takes a little bit more jumps along the way, and then it finally goes through Gmail, and then through Gmail it goes to another internet service provider who delivers that to you, okay? So what I would encourage you to do, and your lawyer may know someone, you're in a huge city, Philadelphia, I'm sure they have them, is I want you to hire a computer forensics expert, okay?
Mm-hmm.
And what this person does is they will root through your phone. They will root through your Gmail account. They normally know the right way to subpoena these records. There's, what I was just talking about, like that little route that will take from point A to point B. So they get in there, and then they can timestamp things. Now, the other thing that's really interesting to me is that you use the word printout. That these were printouts of emails. And it said, provided by sent by your Samsung Galaxy, because it says on an iPhone, sent by an iPhone, and it's pretty common that, for that to happen. Yeah. But,
I don't
printers...
think they're printouts.
Yeah,
I think they're Photoshop.
Okay, well, if they are, well, then that's a whole other fraud issue there. But...
Yes.
But, what you can do is if they are printouts, if they could figure out where that may have been printed, is that, printers have memory. A lot of people don't realize this. And that's why it's like a really dumb idea just to throw an old printer away, because they have a certain amount of memory. And that unless you actually reset the printer back to factory defaults, when you throw away the printer, somebody can look at it. And if you had copies of your driver's license, your passport, your tax return, whatever it may be, they would have copies of all that. So a computer forensics expert will be able to walk you through this. I want you to make sure that you don't chintz out on this, Lee, okay? And, if somebody, they're going to charge you $500, $1,000. This may cost you $2,000, $2,500 by the end of the day in order to pull all this together. But, where it's going to make a huge difference in where you live, okay? I mean, whether you live in your house or you live in the big house. And this goes as a word of advice for any of the men and women. If you're looking for love in other countries, just know it doesn't come without a lot of risk. Lee, keep me posted. If you have trouble finding that forensics person, just give me a call back and I'll do some digging for you too. And stay right where you are. Brand new or not true is coming up. I got to tell you about alarms for your phones, and later on why you should be filing your taxes now instead of later.
America's biggest weekend radio show about all things digital. America's digital goddess, Kim Komando. The Kim Komando Show presents brand new.
Just what I always wanted.
Or not true. You're a liar.
Tell me lies, tell me sweet little lies.
That's right. It is time for brand new or not true. It's America's favorite radio game show sensation, also television now game show sensation. And it's because, well, here in the tech world, we have so many new products that get released week after week. And we sit here and we scratch our heads. We say, what were they thinking? And then lo and behold, before we know it, it becomes a unicorn, a company worth over $1 billion. So here on Brand New or Not True, we present you with 3 products. 2 are fake, 1 are real, 1 is real, and it's up to you to decide. And joining us this week is our very own Kim Komando Show call screener, Chris Wineland. Hello, Chris.
Hey, how's it going?
Okay, so this is your first time at the parade.
Yes.
Okay, and it's your turn to come up with those 3 products.
Yes, it is. Now, let me ask you a question before we go into this. Have you ever lost?
Yes.
You have?
I believe it was in 2007.
Okay, so it's been a while.
No pressure.
Okay.
No pressure.
I'm really hoping this will start a streak for me.
Okay.
So, here we go. 3 products.
3 products. Okay, I'm getting out my pen.
Yes.
Ready to write. Product number 1.
Product number 1. You've heard of the Impossible Burger, correct?
Yes.
Okay, well, how about the Impossible Sneaker? That's right. A company in Vancouver has created a 100% vegan shoe. So you can wear it conscious-free with the knowledge that no animals were involved in the making of the shoe, not even horses, right? So there's not your typical horseshoes, if you will. No animal-based glues.
None.
And, of course, no leather. But the best part of this company is that the company claims to also be the only waterproof shoe in the world. The company has built new technology in the shoe, so if it's raining, your feet won't bark. The sneaker starts around $130, claims to be 100% vegan, 100% waterproof, and 110% magic.
Is it gluten-free?
I hope so. Yeah, it should be gluten-free.
Yeah, okay, good. Okay,
just all of it.
That always goes together.
Yeah, it's true. The second product, this is something I would like. So pet rocks used to be a popular thing in the 1970s around, right?
Yes.
Well, a company in Portland, Oregon, believes that they can bring the fad back by using an app on your phone. You simply scour the earth for your perfect earthly friend, and when you find the perfect rock that won't be bouldering you, right, like bothering you, you take a picture of your new pet rock. The app is supposed to tell you its name, backstory, and even how many millions of years your pet rock is.
Wow.
Yeah. And so the app costs $10 to download and then $1 a month to maintain. You ready for the name?
Yes.
It's called, get this, Dwayne the Pet Rock Johnson. And the name has been approved by the action star himself.
I get The Rock.
Yeah.
Can I tell you something about the pet rock?
Yeah.
Okay. So, many moons ago, when we were first starting the Kim Komando Show.
Yes.
Okay. Is that I called the likes of the big networks. And because I said, I'm Kim Komando and I have this great show.
Yeah.
And so I called, his name was Frank Rayfield, and he was in charge of ABC Radio.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And I said, I got this great show, and da-da-da. And he said, Kim, I don't think there's a big enough audience for people who are into technology. Okay, so ABC turned me down. Okay, then CBS, Frank Murphy. I still remember these guys' names. So Frank Murphy actually told me, he said, Kim, I think this whole internet thing, it's a fad, just like the pet rock.
What?
And I was like, what? So that's why we had to self-syndicate. That's why I had to build my own, network, because nobody would have me.
Because everybody thought it was a fad.
So, but this might be the next fad.
And then you know what? You could call him back and say, look, not only is the internet still here, Pet Rock is coming back as well.
Come on down, Frankie. Come on down.
Come on down. Okay. Join the team.
Number three.
Thanks to technology, there are so many different ways to get from one place to another, right? Elevators, escalators, all sorts of different stuff. Well, let's say that standing on an escalator just is too much work for you, and you would like to be transported with absolutely no effort at all. Well, a company in Japan is currently developing a robot that will pick you up, carry you like a baby, and walk you over to any location up to 5 miles away. The idea is that instead of walking to your next location, you can take a nap instead and let someone else do the legwork for you. Some people have been praying for their knight in shining armor to whisk them away. Now, thanks to this new technology, it's possible. The company believes that this robot will give the person the ability to take naps and get more sleep while they're cuddled like a baby in the arms of a robot. The robot starts at $12,000, and they're calling the product Sleek Walking.
Sleek walking.
Sleek walking. See? Nice and clever.
Instead of sleepwalking.
Instead of sleepwalking.
So you just have this robot carrying you around.
And you're just a baby, and you get carried around.
Okay, so now you know that two are fake and one is real.
Correct. And if I win, I believe I get $1 million. I'm not too sure on that one. No one was clear.
I think you're mistaken.
Oh, okay.
Just saying. Boy, I'll tell you, you did a good job. Okay?
Thank you.
I would say that number three, I know the Japanese are into a lot of robots, but I think that's a tough one.
Really?
Yeah, because, you have to figure out how many pounds that person is.
Yeah.
Is there a limit?
I'm not 1,000 pounds.
1,000 pounds.
Yeah.
I'm going to say that's not true.
Okay.
The pet rock?
Pet rock.
With the app to detect what kind of rock it was? Very clever. I don't think so.
Really?
Okay. The impossible sneakers, I don't think that's real either.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, but I have to pick one that I think is real. This is a tough one.
I'm excited.
I'm going to go with the robot.
And the robot's the real one?
Or the impossible sneakers. Which one?
It's up to you.
Sneakers. No, the robot.
The robot.
The robot.
Robot.
I'm going with the
answer?
robot. Yes.
Okay.
Final answer? Well, Kim is now
Oh,
Chris
Yes!
wins. The vegan sneakers are the true product. Take a listen.
Almost went there.
Dirty, just rinse them
I'm
off.
so happy.
Vesties are 100%
The
waterproof.
impossible sneaker. I was
Yes.
I was right there. I was right there.
You were very close. You kept switching back and forth.
Okay, well, here's the deal. Next week, it's my turn.
Oh, let's do it.
Okay, it's up to you. You coming back? You going to be ready for it?
Oh, yeah. I'm training. I'm
Okay.
ready.
All right. I can't believe that I lost.
I know. I feel so proud.
Did we hire you? Or is this still...
Barry did.
Oh,
yeah.
I thought maybe this is still just a training. These are training sessions.
Maybe. It
Something
might
like
be.
that. We'll see you next week, Chris. Thank you. All right, still to come this hour, we have more of your great phone calls. I have to talk a little bit about the right alarm clock for your phone and also what's going on with hackers and your taxes. Scary stuff happening. I'm going to tell you all about it here on the Kim Komando Show. Hey, listen, a couple of things that I need to tell you about. First of all, if you're not getting the Komando podcast, oh my gosh, what are you waiting for? Wherever you get your podcasts, just search for my last name. That's Komando. We have Komando on Demand and Mike James. We did a couple of really great interviews this past week. Coming up this week, we have the secrets to social media marketing. And we also have some amazing interviews with some industry movers and shakers. You can get them for free wherever you get your podcasts. Now, keep in mind that those podcasts, it's not the Kim Komando Show podcast. If you want the Kim Komando Show podcast, you need to join the Komando community. Exclusive membership starts at just a few bucks a month. You can sign up right now while you're thinking about it over at getkim.com. Once again, that's getkim.com. And back to the phones we go with Al in Portland, Oregon. Hi there, Al.
Hi, Kim. Thanks for having me on.
You betcha. What's going on?
So I wanted to find out some information about front and rear-facing cameras for your car.
Dash
cams.
cams.
The reason I wanted to do... I'm sorry?
Dash cams, they're called.
Yeah.
Got it.
So the reason I'm wanting to do that is my wife was recently on her way into work, and a lady ran a red light, and my wife managed not to hit her too bad, but ended up hitting her. And the lady was saying that my wife ran the red light, and Deb was saying that this lady ran the red light. Unfortunately, there was another car that pulled up and said, no, the other lady had run the red light. And the policeman told us the best way to take care of that is to have dash cams in your car so that you can prove that the other person did whatever wrong.
Right. And dash cams are very popular, for example, in Russia, where there's a lot of insurance fraud. And that was, I don't know if you remember, but we used to sell dash cams for years here. But then it just got to be a little bit crazy because I really think that the age of the dash cam, a couple of things that you want to keep in mind is that, these videos that you're storing now on your memory cards, they should be stored up in the cloud. And I think that's going to be the next iteration. But for right now, we're still storing things on our cards. So what you want is a front-facing and a rear-facing camera, okay? A couple of things else you want. You want a nice battery that's going to last you for a while. Some of these cheaper dash cams, and I'm going to steer you away from the cheaper ones, Al, that the batteries need to be charged like every couple of hours, which is unrealistic. But you still want a dash cam that runs off a 12-volt power source. You want so-called G sensors in this dash cam. So if there is an accident detected, that it automatically knows to record and to take some extra steps to save that footage. They also do continuous loop recording. And so if you don't say, I need this video, then it's just going to keep recording. And sometimes like every 3 or 4 hours, sometimes it's 12 hours. The cloud storage that I mentioned. And also some of the newer dash cams, when there is an accident detected, that will automatically call 911, which is nice. So when you do go shopping, there are all these different makes and models, of course. Garmin makes a really good one. And some of these dash cams, they work with Alexa. I'm not really sure you need that, okay? I mean, why would you want Alexa in your car with a dash cam? I don't really understand that. And then there's also where you can buy like a $10 app to put on your phone, and so that your phone will turn into a dash cam. They work, but they don't have the camera flexibility and the angle of view that you're going to have in a bona fide gadget. Make sense?
Right.
Okay. And some of these record in 4K. You don't need that. Okay. 1080 HD is fine. And so when you start looking through all the different makes and models, there's one brand that gets a lot of kudos from me, and it's a company by the name of NextBase. And NextBase. I'll put a link to the model that I like, and it does 1440 resolution. It has really sharp video, and it's one of the few cameras that I mentioned that can call emergency right after a crash, which is very nice. And it pairs with other different cameras. And so, like, if you had a big truck, for example, or a trailer, and you wanted to put a camera on the trailer as well as take the dash cam, so you do rear and, front and rear facing cameras, is that it allows you to integrate up to 3 more different cameras. And so, again, there's a lot of make and models. In case you do want to check it out, the model number that I like, it's 522. It's the NextBase 522. But we'll post a link.
I'll take a look at that.
We'll post a link to it over at Komando.com. Mandy, if you would make sure that we do that in the show picks button, which we had to move with the new website. So if you go to Komando.com, now there's a button that says Kim Show, and underneath that, there's a big old link that says show picks. And so we'll put some links there, as well as we have other articles about picking the right dash cam. And, if all you need is just a basic vantage point, it's not bad to use one of the apps that are out there, but I just don't want you to think that it's going to totally replace the functionality of a complete dash cam. All right, coming right back, I have some great tips to pass along about your taxes and your alarm clock you don't want to miss here on the Kim Komando Show. All right, a couple of things that I need to pass along that you need to know about. First of all, let's talk about the alarm clock on your phone, okay? You know what happens? You're disoriented for a minute or two. You're trying to figure out where you are, what's going on. Well, according to some new research, the grogginess is known as sleep inertia. It's tied to, are you ready, a harsh alarm that scares you awake every single day. The study tracked the waking habits of a whole bunch of folks who woke to loud beeping. Others prefer more melodies when they get up and songs. And believe it or not, the folks that woke up with the melody actually were more alert than the people who just were jarred awake by these sounds. So don't let this alarm you, but keep this in mind as you're setting your alarm for your phone. And then now let's also talk about your taxes, as promised. Now, the IRS officially kicked off the tax season on January 27th with the usual deadline set for April 15th. Now, scammers, I got to warn you, they're out in full force. And so your very best defense is to file your taxes early. So just keep in mind that crooks are using phishing emails, spoofed websites, spyware to steal your info. And then they can file a tax return claiming your refund, a fraudulent refund. So here are some of the things that you need to watch out for. And if you are the person in your family who's in charge of all things digital, make sure that you pass along these details as well. Like, let's say you get a letter from the IRS about a suspicious tax return that you didn't file. Maybe you can't e-file your return because they say of a duplicate Social Security number. You get a tax transcript that you didn't request. You get an IRS notice that an account has been created in your name. We've got even more signs over at Komando.com, including what to do if you're actually a victim. There's actually this form, and I'll give you the number. It's 14039 because we did all the research for you. It's the identity theft affidavit, and you can request a copy of the fraudulent return. So basically, the bottom line here is that before you're sitting there, you're procrastinating, don't want to do your taxes, don't want to compile all the paperwork. We all get it. Nobody likes to do their taxes. But if you need a return or if you have a refund coming, make sure that you fill that out as soon as possible. Just get those taxes done. And we've got some more information about it over at Komando.com. You want to stay right where you are. Coming up in the next hour, some interesting items that cross my desk, as well as our digital life hack. And we're going to talk about how you can use Google like the Super Bowl commercial did. You don't want to miss that. And we're brought to you coast to coast here on the West Star Multimedia Network. So how many things did you learn in the last hour? I bet it's at least 1, 2, or maybe even 10. And here's your freebie. I know you want it. All you have to do is go to getkim.com and use promo code Kim. Yes, that's my name. I like to make things easy. And you get a 7-day free trial of the entire Komando community. Here's what that means. You get every show's complete podcast without the commercials and the breaks, and a lot more. You can ask me your tech questions and get answers from me and other tech pros in our forums. You can post a blog, share your pictures, and even watch the show streaming on demand whenever and wherever you want. So with this 7-day free trial, you're going to get the current show, plus 36 more hours of the Kim Komando Show. And just a reminder, the Kim Komando Show, we're not part of one of these big broadcast companies. We're a small business, and we need your support. This is a special offer. You're not going to get this anywhere else. Head over to getkim.com, use promo code Kim, and get that free trial. Do it now while you're thinking of it. And thank you again for your support.